Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you here today. Welcome to the Music Biz Common Ground webinar series, our first series and first session hosted on the new WebEx app. Grateful to have you here today with us. Before we introduce today's presenter and get things started, just have a couple of very quick housekeeping notes for you. First of all, this is our first webinar in the WebEx ecosystem, so thank you all for making the jump with us. We're really excited to have you here. Some things are a little bit different from our normal Zoom chats. One is we're going to be answering all questions and taking all attendee networking chat in the actual chat. So if you'd like to connect with your fellow attendees, please leave your messages in the chat. As far as Q&A for the session goes, drop them in the chat as your questions come up, and we will answer your questions at the end of today's webinar. In the event that we don't get to your question, rest assured we'll pass everything along to the BMAT team and make sure that y'all get a email response with an answer. A reminder that recording of this webinar, as well as our other webinars, will live on our website, musicbiz.org. This recording should be posted by end of business today. You can also access all these recordings within the WebEx app on your phone or tablet. Outside of webinars, we have a couple of exciting bullet points for you for the upcoming Music Biz 2024 annual conference. In case you don't know, that's taking place at the JW Marriott Nashville, May 13th to the 16th. We just this week launched our preliminary agenda for the 4-day educational program. Very excited to have some new topics as well as returning old favorites like our Metadata Summit, Next Gen Now, Indie Label Summit, etc. Visit musicbiz.org or musicbiz2024.com today to get a look at the agenda, register for the conference, and also book your hotel rooms. I think we're about 50% booked, so if you're looking to stay right on site, make sure to do that sooner rather than later. And a reminder that our next webinar will be taking place right here on WebEx on February 22nd. But let's get back to today. We're grateful to have the team from BMAT here with us to talk about music fingerprint technology. So without further ado, please welcome Nan Wilson of the BMAT team. Nan, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Henrik, thank you. Thank you, Music Biz. Today is really about a general conversation about music recognition technology for me and BMAT. And I can't actually see you. So I want to ask you some questions to get a sense of who you are, even though I know what the attendee list looks like. So are you ready? I want you to put some answers in the chat, please, I request. If you know BMAT, put a B, and you know what BMAT does, put a B in the chat. Nobody knows BMAT? Is that true?
Nan, I'm hearing there may be a issue with the chat. We are investigating it real quick.
Oh, cool.
So
Like,
that may be why.
Okay,
However,
cool.
we have a bunch of new converts today, if not. So that may be, we're addressing that right now, folks. Stay tuned.
All right, cool. So here's the second question, even if you can't tell me, but be thinking about this. Do you think you know what fingerprint technology is for music? If you do, and you can put it in the chat, put an F in the chat. Last question. I don't think you knew about this, but I have a special guest who's actually going to really illuminate use cases for recognition technology and particularly for fingerprint technology. And his name is Edwin Cox. If you have met Edwin live and in person, put an E in the chat. Okay, the chat's not working. So I'm just imagining that there were a bunch of yeses to all of this. All right, so Henrik, I'm ready to switch to the deck. Thank you. So we want to welcome you to BMAT World. And our intention is to be the operating system for the music industry, literally connecting and reinforcing all of the nodes of the industry. And you will see me looking down sometimes at my notes. Before I go any further, as I said, I want to reiterate that really what I'm going to do today is an overview. I will have slides that have some more details about some of our services or just some concepts. We will be sending out the deck, and so you can see those details. Or in the chat, if there's something that you want me to go back to that I just skipped over, we can do that as well. Lastly, particularly because I'm doing overviewing, I may speed up too quickly. If you think I'm going too quickly, just tell me to slow the flock down. And Henrik will let me know that. All right, welcome to BMAT World. So, in case you didn't know, BMAT was started actually almost 20 years ago by a group of PhD nerds in a technology lab at a university in Barcelona. And they took what they were working on and basically monetized it. And today, almost 20 years later, BMAT is a team of 200 people around the world, thousands of clients, and as you see here, 85 countries. And we retain this culture of being committed to curiosity, exploration, and of course, excellence. What do I mean by music operating system? So I don't know what you answered about fingerprint technology, but let me just say very briefly that the fingerprint technology for music is literally applying technology to find and identify the melody in a song, and then using that identification to go out and find performances of the song. It is a kind of music recognition technology. It is focused on the song as distinct from the recording. So that means that fingerprint technology can find songs across many different recordings. All right. So the operating system using our core technology is about fair and equitable and efficient distribution, primarily of royalties and income streams. And we use a centralized and auditable set of software. The ecosystem, in terms of how we perceive it, is BMAT sitting under content owners, content administrators, and content users. Today, we've got clients everywhere from, of course, around the globe, but from the major publishers all the way down to individual composers, labels, DSPs, PROs. Uh, Actually, BMAT started really providing services to collective management organizations around the world, and particularly in Europe. And of course, today we are doing that all over the world. We currently monitor, so our core technology was created for TV and radio. So we're currently monitoring more than 6,500 radio stations and 2,000 TVs around the world, TV stations. What are the benefits? So, income tracking and royalty assurance, sync and marketing promotion, drilling down a little bit, and Edwin's going to do this in a minute, income tracking by uncovering missed revenues, in comparing performances to statements, matching our data with your internal databases so that you can match up metadata and rights holder data, and gaining insights into your artists. There are also marketing benefits. Can we bring Edwin on now?
Hello, everybody. Hi, Nan. How are you?
Hi, hold on, I'm coming. I'm good. So this
Yeah.
is Edwin Cox, and he is
Hi,
the founder,
everybody.
CEO, president of West One Music. So Edwin, first of all, tell us about West One Music.
Hi Nan, thanks for having me on this. So West One Music is an independent production music company primarily. And so what we're doing is producing and then licensing music to the film and TV and advertising business. So the primary uses of our music is in audio visual. Hence our relationship, a long-term relationship with BMAT. So that's kind of what we do. We service the media industry on a global basis. We have offices in multiple territories around the world, and we're members of many collecting organizations as well. So we have a global infrastructure, I guess, of sales and marketing, royalty administration, and then that obviously includes the tracking and claiming part of what we do with our works.
So Edwin's been with us for a while. He's actually, I just found out, one of our first, or maybe the first large production library client. So about 10 years. Edwin, just try to think back or just imagine it. What had you start to think about using BMAT services or this kind of technology?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's at least 10 years, and I think you alluded to it earlier on in your slide deck, but I think it was the relationship that BMAT had in Spain with Sky, and some of the broadcasters in Spain that we were working with. So I think that's what introduced us initially to BMAT was, actually there's a company here that's providing a service for broadcasters and their relationship with the society in terms of how they're doing their reporting. So we need to be in this platform to ensure that our data is correctly registered, correctly administered, and is appearing in these reports that are going between the broadcaster and the society.
And
so that was kind of phase one, I think, of our relationship, and obviously started with our work in Barcelona with some of the TV there.
So you really started with using the data to compare with your Sky statements?
Yes, but not primarily. It was mainly because, and so this is one of the elements of how we work with BMAT. There's sort of three core areas, and one of those areas is that BMAT provides services to collecting societies around the world. And therefore, we want to ensure that our sound recordings and our music is living in that ecosystem.
Okay.
So when BMAT or you are providing that service, we're in our data is correct and included in that process.
Okay, cool.
So that's like that was phase one for us, and it's one of the sort of the core things for us in our relationship with BMAT.
Okay, great. Okay, so fast forward to today.
Yeah.
What are the different ways that West One works with BMAT today, or uses their data, what have you?
Yeah, so there's the three. I would say there's the three core areas of our working with the BMAT system. The first one is those society relationships that BMAT has. So we want to make sure our music is in there and accurate. So we're included in that work that you're doing directly with the society. The second one is we use it for sales data. So we're looking in different territories, what's happening with our music, who's using it, have we licensed it, does it need, do we need to go to the client and seek a license? How has the music ended up in that production? So that's the other element, which is the sales element. And then the third core one is we're using it for exception reporting and tracking and claiming. So what we're doing is we're taking our BMAT reporting and we're comparing that against our distributions from societies. And then we're making either manual or automated claims with whichever society. So those are the sort of, I guess the three, if you boil it down, they're the three core areas. One is making sure we're in the ecosystem globally. Two is how we're looking at sales, monitoring what's happening within our relationships that are existing or finding new opportunities where licenses are not complete. And third is we're looking at that tracking and claiming element with the societies, which takes the form of what we internally call exception reporting, which is comparing the data from the society versus what is coming out of BMAT.
Got it.
So those are sort of three core ones, and then there's extension on tracking and claiming, which happens. Which I can. Do you want me to talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of areas that we utilize the BMAT service for. One of them, obviously, is in Canada. So there is, there's a portal now for ad claims. SOCAN has just started paying out advertising in Canada, so there's now a portal, and we're using our BMAT data to make sure we're picking up all of the claims in the portal. So that's comparing the advertising that we're seeing in our BMAT, and then making sure that we're claiming that within the SOCAN portal. And then the other side in the US, we're doing a very similar thing with the Vivex system, which used to be called Numerator and used to be called something else before that. So we're doing a similar thing there where we're utilizing the BMAT system to make sure we're actively claiming across all of the Vivex stuff as well.
Got it. Cool.
So those, I guess, are extensions of tracking and claiming for us. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts or dreams about the use of fingerprint technology in the future for your business?
Well, I think the ultimate dream is that the societies use it more than us. I think the challenge at the minute is that all of the pressure comes onto us. Whereas, in an ideal world, I guess if you're looking at the dream scenario, is that it's all happening seamlessly in the background, and us as copyright owners are getting fairly paid, and we don't necessarily need to use these services ourselves. So I think there's, that's a kind of the long-term, I would say, aspiration for it. But for now, we have obviously a responsibility to our composers and our writers and ourselves to make sure we're accurately monitoring and receiving income for the usage of the music. So, BMAT is a weapon in that armory, I'd say, or a very powerful weapon in that armory.
Okay, I share your dream.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back to the Edwin. Thank you.
Thank you, Nam.
Oh, I don't hear anything. Am I still on? Can people still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to just flip through a few of these slides because I don't want to go into these details unless there's somebody who wants me to come back to them. But what you see right here is a sample of our Veracast reporting platform, which is where the TV and radio reporting happens. We have various kinds of reporting through Veracast, and that is our original and core technology. Of course, BMAT is also in the digital world, and I'm going to give an overview and just drop in the chat if you want more details, and we can either give them here today or we can do it later. We'll get back to you. So our primary platform, for digital processing using our fingerprint technology is Pronto. It's a music usage processing solution. We don't represent any rights. We do not compete with either our publishing partners or CMOs. We are literally in the middle providing data in a neutral way. We work with a lot of, actually, this isn't even all of them, but we work with a lot of CMOs to provide this data. And we're plugged into all of the DSPs as well, both music, AV, and yeah, that's it. Another service that I wanted to highlight today is the ads claiming service. And Edwin alluded to it. I mean, we have a number of ways that we support, particularly in the US, and we are rolling out to other countries in Europe, collection of money, royalty for performances in advertising, promos, and trailers. In the US, we have a full administration service, and this service is for production music libraries, publishers, and even for individual composers. Why do we even have this admin service? Because it's very time consuming, it's manual, and it is extremely detailed work, and the workflows and the knowledge base changes from PRO to PRO. Even within the US, ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and GMR, well, GMR doesn't do it, have completely different processes for claiming those ads. 20 years of experience. We are trusted partners of the PROs. I'm going to just gloss through this. If you want to know more about what the process is, you can put a question and we can either talk about it here today or we can get back to you. That is my presentation. I want to know if people have questions. Okay, I'm starting to look at the questions. I only see one question, I think. Henrik?
Yes, it looks like we've got one question in the chat now from Debbie. Folks, if we've got any questions for Nan today, feel free to drop them in the chat. This is the Q&A portion of the webinar. We'll be happy to answer them for you now.
Debbie, major discrepancies between what PRO is reporting and what BMAT is reporting. Okay, major. That's a big word. So let's break it down to ad versus background programming. So in the advertising world, you pretty much get paid based on a claim submission. If there's no claim submission, the possibility of an ad performance being paid is drastically reduced. So in that case, if there's no claim submission, the discrepancy between what the PRO is paid and what BMAT reports is likely to be quite high. Once there's a claim submission, it kind of depends on the PRO and how their workflow is going. Sometimes there's not a lot of discrepancies. Sometimes there are huge discrepancies. And that's primarily, I think, based on their workflow and how much they're able to process. That's the ad world. In the background TV world, it's a little bit of an unknown because all three PROs basically pay based on cue sheets primarily. Are there discrepancies? Are they significant in terms of dollar amounts? Yes. No more questions?
Looks like we've got one more in the chat from Kenny, and I've just asked folks again, if we've got any questions, feel free to drop them in now, and we will be answering them now.
Oh. Thank you, Maria. Oh, wait, Kenny. Are there ways can general music audience fans utilize the fingerprint tunnel in their listening experience? Kenny, do you mean like Shazam?
Looks like it says yes, or in any other ways.
Okay, so we don't have a public facing a kind of monitor like Shazam. Um, BMAT technology is used. We do have a service for venues and for live performances. And I think that's as close as we get to music audiences. It's not huge in the US, but there are some countries that are primarily using BMAT listening boxes or phones to pick up the performance of recorded music or concerts. I see another question. Why are PROs reluctant to sign, and is the fee too cost prohibitive for them to join? So I'm assuming you're saying PROs are reluctant to sign with BMAT. And I'm just going to assume that. So many PROs are using music recognition technology, whether it's BMAT, Sound Aware, ACR Cloud, Sound Mouse. Really, a number of PROs are using the technology. They are not using it though in the way, well, there are some PROs that are using it in the way that Edwin talked about in the dream scenario, which is they use the fingerprint technology in our reporting as the basis for payment and distribution. And you asked, is the fee too cost prohibitive for them to join? I really think it depends on the strategic plans of the PROs, and what they're looking at, and then of course cost comes into that. Thank you, Miriam. What does it cost for individual composers or artists to subscribe or join BMAT? So if you wanted a Veracast subscription, this is one that actually, Henrik, I should get back to you. But can I put something in the chat, Henrik?
Us presenters, we cannot drop anything in the chat. We're glad to flag this question. We'll make sure to get in touch with them and get them an answer. Absolutely.
Great. And so what we'll do, I'm going to, Debbie, just so everybody knows, you can go to bmat.com and you can get more information about what the different services are and how to use them. But Debbie, I will get back to you directly. Will the general public be able to use? Yes, the general public. You can have a subscription for Veracast data, but you can't just like go into like the bmat.com website and put in your song and then get all of the performance data. What is the relationship between BMAT's fingerprint and the ISRC? Yes, indeed, we use okay. So one of the things that I didn't touch on, but I probably should have, is BMAT has millions and millions and millions of songs and recordings in our database. And one of the services that we provide to collective management organizations or PROs, to publishers, and even to DSPs is matching of ISRCs to the asset or to a song. So the fingerprint, remember, identifies the song. In our database, we know what recordings are associated with that song. The recordings are identified, hopefully, by ISRCs. I hope that answered your question, Marion. Yeah. Okay. Mashes, mixes. Yes, we do identify it. And we want the playlist. We always say that it's good to cover with a playlist, but we literally have a service that will provide the playlist for DJ mixes. Uh, it's more complicated. And sometimes there is additional quality assurance work that needs to be done to make sure we aren't picking up false positives or the wrong songs. How difficult is it to work with BMAT as a record label in Mexico? Can we know about prices? It's not difficult at all. Anywhere in the world, you guys, BMAT has a presence. and we provide recording data, and we work with clients all over the world. There may be some countries that we don't. Well, we could cover 85 countries. Bottom line is, yes, we have people who will work with a record label in Mexico, and we'll get back to you, Rafael, about the different prices and what your real needs are. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for answering. How long of a queue? Ha 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 ha. I was just in a meeting about this yesterday. So we can detect queues of 4 seconds. We can actually detect smaller, but the false positives and the accuracy of the detection drops significantly. So we have a client, at least one client, maybe more than one client, whose catalog is primarily made up of cues, bumps, and logos. That client actually takes the responsibility for doing the QA themselves and eliminating the false positives. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay, I think we're done with questions, huh?
Looks like it. I've just sent one more call out for questions, and I'll take this opportunity to thank you, Nan, for spending the time sharing your talent with us today to
And
learn more
Edwin,
about Music Fingerprint. And Edwin as well. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Greatly appreciate your insights, folks. We're close to wrapping up. So, any other questions? Looks like we've got one more in the chat now, but feel free to ask them, and Nan will answer them. Answer them now.
okay, seconds. Yes. Can you elaborate more about what Edwin touched on about ads in Canada? Oh, hee ho ho. Okay. All right. Actually, Edwin. So yes, first of all, yes, SOCAN is paying on advertisement detections in Canada. They started in 2022. BMAT actually provides the back end um, of that service. It is a new service, uh, and so really there is work to be done in terms of people getting paid for all of their performances. But Edwin, could you just elaborate a little bit more about what you guys do to get
Yeah, I can do. Yeah. So as you say, SOCAN just started in the last 12 months or so paying on ad performances. There is a portal now within the SOCAN system where you can go in and you can see a list of potential matches, and then you can simply hit a claim button if it's if it's the correct link to your music. So the team are basically using BMAT to check for the adverts, check for the brands, and then they're searching through the unclaimed portal, making sure it's the same work, and then just making a claim and putting in the same work details.
So here's
So it's
something.
really using BMAT to sort of listen to it and then going into the portal to hit, yes, that's the one, claim.
Yes, good. Okay.
So
So
it's a quite manual system, but BMAT's doing a lot of the back end already within SOCAN. So it's just sweeping up the additional parts of it.
and there are additional parts. So so did you hear Edwin say searching so they're using their licenses so you can search by brand, by product, by title of the song. Here's a key thing. We need to have the songs in our database associated with an ISWC. So registrations at SOCAN you need to make sure that they have an ISWC associated with them, and that's been our biggest source of not being able to make payments. Did that answer your question, Michelle? Okay, I'm going to hope so. And if not, anybody needs to get in touch with us about SOCAN claiming, we are happy to help with that.
All right, folks. Looks like we got one more question. I will go off camera, and looks like we're close to wrapping up. So after we take this question, we will conclude. Any other questions? Feel free to direct to the BMAT team, to us. We'll be happy to get in touch with BMAT and get you answers.
Cool. Okay, so the way the Veracast platform works is you have live data. It's up to 2 hours before you can see a performance. You can generate reports whenever you want to, but the platform actually shows you live data as the performances of your music are happening.
All right, it looks like we are all out of questions for the moment. Thank you all so much for attending. Thank you for dealing with the technical difficulties in the beginning while we got the chat working. Appreciate you, BMAT, for being our kickoff presenter for the new Common Ground webinar series on WebEx. Really grateful to have you here. And like I said, folks, we'll pass along any other questions that didn't get answered today or we need more clarity from the team. And hope to see you all at the next webinar. Nan, Edwin, thank you again so much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thank you, Henrik.
Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and week.
All right.